Hello there and welcome again to the Not So Weekly news on RC model reviews. And today I've got to tell you there's a bit of news. Flying has been banned at the airfield. All RC model flying has been banned at the Tokoroa Airfield. Work it out for yourself. I don't know. I think when it comes down to bureaucrats, when things get too hard, when they actually have to do some research, when they actually have to do something that involves getting out of their chairs, it gets too hard. They just, oh, no, we'll just ban it. Then the problem goes away. You know, it happens so often. I've seen it so many times when bureaucrats and people find things they don't understand or they can't be bothered dealing with, they just ban it. It's happened so many times with things like drugs and, you know, back in the 1920s, the American government banned alcohol. It was just too hard to deal with the problem, so we'll just ban it, it'll go away. Never did, of course. Banning never works, but that's what the local district councillors decided to do with RC flying at this airfield because they encountered all sorts of problems, such as I need to test my sense and avoid system. And to do that, because I'm not allowed to fly, this is another video coming up on that subject, on why my so-called exemption was unfit for purpose. So I have to resort to testing on the ground again. Now this means I'm going to have to set up some ground-based equipment, which for the sake of economy has to operate on 2.4 gigahertz. If I was doing flight testing, it'd be a completely different frequency, but because I now need to have half a dozen little units that I'll set up along the length of my workshop to simulate movement, then I have to use something that's cheaper, and 2.4 gig equipment is incredibly cheap because it's so popular, it's so widely used. So, okay, so now we're talking about a system that has the output somewhat similar to half a dozen cell phones, okay? And the local council has decided, that could interfere with the RC models, and probably what they're saying is we don't trust the RC flyers to do things like simple things like range checks and install their gear properly, so we're just going to ban it because it makes it all too dangerous. There you go. That's what you get with public servants sometimes, and they forget that they are public servants. And anyway, on to something more interesting. Now, recently I've noticed there's been a lot of new stuff coming out which doesn't come from China. That's right. You know, typically we've thought Chinese products, cheap Chinese, it's changed the face of the hobby. We've got foamies and electric power and lipos that cost next to nothing, and most of it comes from China. And we're chuffed to bits because now we can afford to fly models like we never could before. But increasingly, I've noticed, there's some really good stuff, some innovative stuff, some new stuff coming out of other countries. Example, that, where is it, the blackout mini quad that I'm having so much fun with at the moment. This thing, Australia. Yeah, of all places, Australia, who'd have thought? Then we've got other stuff. What I've got, some of these helical antennas that I have been testing just in the last little while. The UK, America, okay? Yeah, China makes helical antennas, but the crap, honestly, the high model one, utter rubbish. I showed you that in a previous video. These, much better, and they come from not China. Now, they're not as cheap as the Chinese products, but they're better. So the value is often much higher. For example, this blackout mini quad, I've seen a knockoff of this already on a Chinese website, and it's half the price. But if you look very closely, they've missed a lot of things. They've skipped a lot of, scrimped and saved in a lot of places, so it's probably not half the value. It's probably a lot worse. If you're going to buy something like this, buy the original. Because when you buy a knockoff, not only do you penalise the person or the people who have put so much time and effort into developing such an excellent product, but you're feeding the people who simply make money by knocking off other people's stuff. And if they're going to knock it off, you can bet your bottom dollar they're going to make it cheaper. They're going to cut corners. So you won't get what you think you're getting a lot of the time. Now, another example is the excellent Naze 32 boards that I've been using. These are just so damn good. They just work so well. Now, these, where do you think they're made? In Japan. There's a guy who makes them in Japan. Now, I think there is already a Chinese knockoff of these, which is a few bucks cheaper, but why would you deprive the guy that makes these of a few bucks just to save a couple of bucks? It's not worth it. Go and buy the originals. I mean, you know you're getting a known quantity. It's been put together, it's backed up, it's got support, and it works. So don't penalise the people who put in the time, the effort, the hours to come up with this stuff, you know, by buying knockoffs. It's just not worth it. We need more stuff like this that's going to keep the hobby moving and more interesting stuff coming up. Another example, where are we? Under here, I've got a big box I haven't even opened yet. It arrived some time ago, and oh man, out of shot. Excuse me. I should have got around to opening it, but with all the other crap that's been going on, my time has been a bit short. Here we go, look at this. Woohoo! And this is another multi-rotor product, and it comes from, not from China, but from the USA. Again, another innovative person has thought about something, come up with some really good ideas, put it together, and you can buy it from the USA. I mean, this is great. I mean, I'm not knocking the Chinese because they really have done wonders for the hobby, but I really am impressed that so many people are actually, sometimes on a kitchen table level, putting together some really great products and making them available to us at not uber cheap, but sensible prices. I mean, you know, you can't get a Rolls Royce for the price of a Mini. It just doesn't work that way. But some of the stuff, you know, the value really speaks for itself. Now, I haven't reviewed this product. I will be reviewing it fairly shortly. I've got so much more multi-rotor stuff to catch up on. Speaking of which, the Cinetank sitting down there, that's another product. USA. Oh, look at it. You know, when I'm looking at it now, most of the products that I'm reviewing in the next few weeks are not from China. They don't come from China at all. So, hey, great. I'm really looking forward to getting some innovative, different products on the bench and giving them a try out. So hopefully you'll be as keen as I am to support those companies that are doing this, not just copying stuff, not just churning out the same old, but coming up with new, innovative, exciting products. It's excellent. I'm really excited about that. All I've got to do now is just convince a few bureaucrats to get off their bums and do their jobs. Now, what else have I got that I was going to talk about? Oh yeah, I'm doing a little thing on, someone suggested this to me and I thought that's a really good idea. Now, most people have got a multimeter somewhere. You know, you can buy the cheap ones, $5, you know, $4.99 if you find the right place. But what can you do with them? What good are they in the hobby? So I'm doing up a video showing you multimeters, how to choose a good one, not necessarily an expensive one, but a good one, and what to use it for. Because now that we've gone electric, there are so many applications for using multimeters to test stuff out, to make sure stuff's working properly, to find faulty stuff. And I'll be doing a video on that showing you how to choose and use a decent multimeter for your models. Hopefully you'll find that interesting. I'm also, that video that everyone's been bitching at me about for so long is, how do you choose the right prop, the right motor, the right battery, the right ESC? I mean, that's a big question. That's probably the biggest question in the hobby right now. So I'm working my way through a video, probably a few videos, a sequence of them, which will explain to you the different factors that determine what battery, what motor, what propeller, what ESC to use when you're going to power a model. Because it's okay if you buy an RTF and it's got all the bits in there and you just put your receiver in, but sometimes you want to repower a model, sometimes you want to build a model from scratch, and to do that you need to have a bit of an understanding about how all these things work and their relationships to each other. And what happens when you put a bigger prop on? What happens when you use a 4-cell battery instead of a 3? Things you need to know. Otherwise you can end up with a lot of smoke and ashes if you're not careful with electric stuff. So there you go, that's, I don't think I've got anything else. I've got, oh, looking in the boxes, there's so much work to do. I'm probably going to be doing a little bit of travelling around in the next few days, trying to get some flight testing done well away from home. So I won't be, it'll mainly just be some videos, probably for my X-Jet channel. I do a few FPVs now. I've got the QRX360 Pro over there. It's going on the bench. As soon as I finish this video, I'm going to do side by side with the QRX350, see if they've improved the soldering, the quality control any, and also check out that claim of, was it 25 minutes for a flight? I'm pretty dubious about that, but we'll see. And looking at the Devo 7 and the Devo 10, I think it is, transmitters, and seeing how they work as well. So yeah, lots of work to be done, and the weather's packed up now, so I'll get as much done on the bench as I can. If you've got questions, fire them away. I'll do my best to answer them. And if you're wondering about the exemption thing, well, there's another video coming up. Hopefully there's one more iron in the fire. If that doesn't work, then, well, you'll get to see all the interesting stuff that I know a lot of people really want to see. So thank you for watching. See you again soon on RC Model Reviews. But now it's time for me to get back to the bench.